You're listening to the Higher Attitudes Podcast. Inspiration to lift your soul. During the summer of 2016, in the middle of the build-up leading to the presidential elections, I chose to spend some time on the internet discussing politics. When I was looking to discuss politics, I found groups of what I thought were like-minded people. I watched the groups and commented here and there, and it soon became clear that some individuals were very easily offended by anything that didn't align with their own beliefs and ideas. What I found to be even more worrisome was that they didn't simply state that they were offended. Instead, they attacked anyone who disagreed with them. Typically, they didn't do it with strong statements of fact or objective reasoning. No, it was comments like, well, anyone with a brain can see, and then they would state their own opinion. Then others that wouldn't normally attack would feel justified in returning the ill feelings and comments of the first mudslinger. Had I been in a less civil group, the comments would have been much worse. I know that. But why are good people offended by someone else's differing opinions? Or even someone else's offensive behavior? What are we scared of? I believe it is fear that causes us to turn on each other. Well, enough about politics and online debates. I just wish that being easily offended stopped there. For me, I still seem to get upset when somebody drives in a way that I find dangerous or rude. It's possible that I honk my horn longer and louder than is needed. My daughters would tell you this is true, from time to time. I justify this by thinking at least my tongue and fingers are well behaved. But, it's like I need that long, loud blast of the car's horn to substitute for less well-behaved forms of protest. If someone is critical of me, do I get offended? Sometimes. I'm working on that. That can be a tough one. The thing about getting offended is that we usually strike back at the source of the offense. Or at least we think the other person is the source. But the source really lies within ourselves. You may have heard it said that no one causes us to be offended. Instead, we choose to be offended. Well, while this may be true, it isn't that helpful in the moment. In the moment when somebody crosses my path, the sheer impulse to react negatively is hard to suppress. And when I do suppress the urge to bite back, I still end up being bothered, upset, or irritated. The only thing I know that will move me away from being offended easily is love. The easiest way for me to understand how to love people I don't know well, like the ladies and gentlemen on the internet, or that gal or guy that just cut me off, the only way I know is not to change the way I think about those other people. Instead, I must change the way I think about myself. When I choose to see myself as one who really works to follow the Savior, I begin to second-guess those impulses to react negatively. I pause before I hit send, and I reread my comments, and then I rewrite them, soften them. Often I just delete what I have written, because after a closer look, I realize there is nothing positive enough to share. I am able to do this because I want to become someone who loves as the Savior loves. When I set my sights on this simple goal, I disarm whatever mechanism within me that is prone to fire back as fast as someone fires at me. Thomas S. Monson spoke about the pure love of Jesus Christ a few years ago. He referred to this pure love of Christ as the Scriptures do. He called it charity. Not the charity that allows us to give of our worldly goods to those who lack, though this is right and proper and much needed. He talked about the charity that goes beyond this. He said charity or love is the source of refusing to find satisfaction in the hearing or repeating of the misfortunes of others, merely for the sake of repeating them. He said that we show love when we choose to have patience with someone who has let us down. He also said that charity or love is resisting the impulse to become offended easily. Notice that he did not deny that the impulses are real. They are for me. He said that we use love to resist the impulse to strike back or react negatively. What a powerful concept. For me, learning to back away from being easily offended is a process, one that has taken years to see significant progress in my life. Maybe I'm just getting old and I'm running out of energy, but I've met plenty of older folks who can still work up the energy to be offended. So I hope my practice with this principle continues to work in my life. A little here and a little there. What a gift it is to be able to resist offense and return kindness for harsh words. It feels good to learn to allow the very different ideas of others to coexist with my own, no matter if the ideas include politics or religion or parenting or any other hot-button topic. It feels right to do as Jesus would do. It really doesn't work if we get offended because someone else has gotten offended too easily. No, we have to learn to love others in new ways. And you see, that is the hidden gift of charity. When we stop and make room to love those with different ideas and behaviors, when we resist telling them just how wrong they are, love fills the space that our criticism once filled. And that love, that charity, is sweet and warm and so much more satisfying than the alternative. May you and I set the example for any who are looking for a better way and return love instead of harshness.
Thank you for listening. We'd love to have you join us on Facebook at facebook.com/higher-attitudes. Do you have an uplifting thought to share? Why not join our Facebook discussion group? Visit the group at facebook.com/groups/higher-attitudes to request membership. If you'd like to leave a question about a challenge you're facing, or if you'd like to share a thought about how you've overcome negativity, call 719-301-0303 and record your question or comment. Please note that carrier rates may apply. Again, call 719-301-0303 to leave a question or comment. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we look forward to you joining us for the next episode of the Higher Attitudes podcast. Please remember that the advice offered in this show is intended for informational purposes only. Please read our full disclaimer in the show notes.